Our military analyst Jack Jacobs has just returned from an exclusive briefing with U.S. military officials who tell him that if the U.S. does bomb Iran, the targets have been isolated. So, Jack, tell us a little more about what you learned today. What are the potential targets?
Well, in the Cy Hirsch article, he talked at great length about rattling sabers, really. He talked about at great length about bombing Revolutionary Guards, and that targets were in Tehran and so on, and that the objective was to shift attention away from the war and onto Iran as the bad guy, so that we could look like the victim. That the article that Cy Hirsch had in the New Yorker, where he was talking about a wide-ranging attack, perhaps on the Republican Guards in Iran and in and around Tehran and so on, is probably a lot of baloney. But there was an interesting article in the New Yorker by Cy Hirsch that came out yesterday. It was talking in kind of a hyperbolic and breathless fashion about how we're going to go after Iran because they're bad guys and all the rest of that stuff. And the fact of the matter is that we are very much concerned about two types of weapons that are being brought into Iraq by Iran. That's 240mm mortars and the very deadly explosively formed penetrators, which destroy our armored vehicles and up-armored Humvees. These are made in Iran, and I have a high degree of confidence we know where they're made, which factories they're made, and if we're going to attack Iran at all, that's what we're going to go after. Well, there is an argument that says, and it's entirely possible, that we might strike the factories that manufacture them. And if that happens, I am told that it can be done quickly, can be done surgically, and with no collateral damage or damage to our own forces. It is not surprising that we're focusing our attention specifically on that tactical aspect of what's going on in Iraq. I think we're focusing a lot of attention on it, and we're liable to wind up seeing some action there one of these days soon.
And, well, when you say soon, how soon? What kind of timetable are we thinking?
If it were up to me, I'd do it right away. Bombing people usually brings them together, but if we're very, very specific, if we have the capability to put precision-guided munitions on, let's say, a couple of factories that were manufacturing these two deadly devices, and we wanted to get them off the battlefield for a while, I'd launch the strike right away.
How confident are these military officials in the intelligence that we know, or they know specifically where these military factories are?
That's a very good question, because a long time ago we thought we would eventually go hit the nuclear establishment. Now we don't know where they're. Intelligence is lousy about that, but we do know where these are.
How solid is the evidence that the Pentagon's been putting forward? And is it? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting. We bandied about the notion of trying to find nuclear weapons inside Iran and go after them and so on. And we don't have very much idea where those things are. They've moved them around. But I'll tell you this, we know where those facilities are that are producing these improvised explosive devices, these explosively formed projectiles that are killing tanks and up-armored Humvees, and the plants that are producing the mortars. Those, we know where they are. It's not surprising that we have plans against Iran, which I think is the most dangerous country on the face of the earth. But you're absolutely right. Talking about this and talking about it openly is ratcheting up the dialogue, well, the hysteria about going after Iran. You're asking if I'm a betting man?
No, I'm not, but are you?
Yeah, I am, and I bet that we're going to hit them.
You do?
I do indeed, and I think that there's been a case made that we need to hit them, and that we ought to hit them as soon as possible.